Hey there YouTube, what's up? So the electricity has not recovered yet, so I have to use what I have got on hand. So here I am, filming using my iPad, and I guess tonight I have a lot to talk about, especially in terms of I have a lot to talk about regarding a multitude of topics like spirituality, Christianity, and the things, the bummers, setbacks we tend to encounter. And I couldn't help but start to think about how exactly do we ascertain the facts, the truths we tend to take for granted, like the notion of causality. So if which most usually implies that once you notice something that occurred, then it must have a cause. As to our best knowledge and understanding, of course. However, there are still a huge multitude of things, of phenomena that we can't use the notion of causality to explain, to explain thoroughly and convincingly. Let's just put it that way. So let's say, for instance, usually people would tend to people tend to use evidences to support their claims, to support their own understanding about someone or something, and that applies to criminal investigations and visa applications, and the amount of thinking, considering, and scrutiny about the information that were presented in front of the people in charge of that particular case. Say for let's say, for instance, a visa application. A case officer, or let's say or a visa officer, or a migration affairs or matters delegate, they invested, or they tend to invest a lot of time on determining whether let's say whether that particular applicant fulfills the predetermined criteria in order to receive a visa grant, or otherwise they do not satisfy the criteria, they failed to provide a sufficient amount of evidence to satisfy the case officer, and therefore they will not receive a visa. They will not receive a visa granted by the case officer. So I suppose that's where causality usually most usually takes effect, and where as long as people do not find a a sufficient amount of convincing or compelling evidence to support their own understanding or perception, or just pure instinct, pure inspiration, instinct, or intuition, they would tend to reach a conclusion that such matter, such phenomenon occurred due to a product of chance, and that says it occurred for no particular reason, and then people will attribute the occurrence of such instant or phenomenon to a product of chance, either chance or luck or both, and that's in fact that matter, such matter still confuses me and somewhat terrifies me, that we will never know anything with absolute certainty, and certainly I can be only, I can bear an absolute certainty of the fact that we can never be certain, we can never be absolutely certain about a fact or truth, except that we just have to accept that we would never know something or someone completely, or well, sometimes I don't even know what exactly I'm talking about, but that's the fact I am trying to convey here. That's the information I'm trying to convey here. I'm trying my utmost best to express such feeling. So, well, if so far as I know, if you do have a certain feeling or a certain sensation of instinct, then it usually implies that something is going on, but you don't know for sure how to pursue the truths, the facts, and you just wander and wander aimlessly, helplessly, and which means you don't you just do not have the answer. You do not without an appropriate answer or solution to your current doubts, you will feel that you are trapped in the dark, and you don't know how you will lose your sense of purpose, and it will start to paralyze you. It will start to paralyze your motivation, your inner fire to pursue your objectives. So I think it matters, probably more than anything, to know your purpose. To know why exactly you you fall for something, you fall for someone, or you fall for certain goal, certain objective, since ha, ha, having a sense of purpose or deliberation or otherwise will determine if you have fully grown into an adult, or you still, or would you still prefer to to remain as you were, like you were a child, or well, I still, to be completely honest, I'd rather still remain a child, not knowing too many garbage data. That that's what I prefer to define. All those things, all those events I have experienced so far, most of them, which most of them makes me feel rather unpleasant, not wanting to experience them ever again. But regardless, I am just telling you the truth here, the truth I know. And sometimes we just don't know if we are, we just don't know if, what we knew or what we know are the truths or otherwise. And perhaps that's also why I still can't give up on God, on Christianity. Like I said, yesterday I kind of had an argument with my fellow Christian mates here in China, and then I created the WeChat group, and I after I told them I'd rather convert my faith to Islam, to say the least, I am experiencing some panic, some infighting, some struggles inside my mind, and that's not an experience I like to repeat ever. But regardless, in case you find, just in case you found this video helpful or intriguing, feel free to post your comments below it. And thanks again for watching and listening. I suppose I should get back to whatever I'm supposed to be doing for tonight. So thanks again. Stay blessed, stay faithful, and stay tuned. I shall see you on the next video on YouTube. Bye bye, cheers.